All right, today we're talking about a change in medicine that is so big it's rewriting the rules for how we find disease, how we fight it, and honestly, how we even think about being healthy in the first place. A recent report from Biomed Nexus really hit the nail on the head, saying that a huge structural transition is underway. And look, this isn't just about one new drug or some fancy new machine. We're talking about the actual foundation of healthcare, and it's shifting right under our feet. So what does that mean for you, for all of us? Well, it really starts with a question that, used to sound like total science fiction, but it's becoming real. The question is, what if we could find cancer before it even has a chance to cause a single symptom? At the very heart of this is a new way of thinking. For pretty much all of history, medicine has been reactive, right? You feel sick, you go to a doctor, and then they try to fix what's broken. But now we are moving to a model that is proactive, even predictive. The goal isn't just treating sickness anymore. It's about preventing it from ever taking hold. And what's really important to get is that the biggest headline in this revolution isn't some miracle cure. Not yet. It's a completely new ability to see what's going on inside our own bodies long before we'd ever feel that something is wrong. It all starts with diagnostics. Which, of course, brings us to the perfect example, finding cancer before it starts. The poster child for this whole new era is a single blood test called Galleri, developed by a company called Grail. And it's a game changer, but it also brings a whole new set of massive challenges for our healthcare system. The tech behind it is called Multi-Cancer Early Detection, or MCED. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a new type of blood test that can hunt for a common signal shared by dozens of different cancers, all from one little vial of blood. It's pretty incredible. And the scale here is just staggering. Grail just submitted its final application for what's called a PMA. Think of that as the FDA's highest bar for approval. It's for high-risk, high-impact stuff. And the data backing it up comes from a huge trial with 140,000 people. If this gets the green light, Galleri could go from being a niche test to a routine screening for millions. Now that sounds amazing, doesn't it? A simple blood test for over 50 cancers. But it kicks open the door to a massive system-wide question. If we can suddenly start finding these tiny cancer signals all over the place, what on earth do we do next? This is what the source material calls the downstream strain. See, a positive test isn't a diagnosis, it's just the starting gun for a long, expensive, and frankly terrifying journey of follow-up scans, invasive biopsies, and appointments with tons of different specialists. It's why some are calling this technology less of a medical test and more of a health system capacity test. But finding disease early is really only one half of the equation. The other side of this whole revolution is how we're creating the cures themselves. Because what good is finding something early if our ability to treat it can't keep up? And this is where AI is just completely changing the game. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. The old way of making drugs was a gamble. You'd have huge teams in giant labs, spending decades and billions of dollars hoping for a breakthrough. The new model, what they call AI native, is totally different. Companies like Formation Bio use technology to spot promising drugs that already exist, and then use AI to just slam the accelerator on their development. And this isn't just a handful of startups either. You've got tech titans like Oracle stepping in to build the AI-powered plumbing, the infrastructure to make this super fast model the new standard for everyone. They're connecting all the data so drug development can get faster, period. And the proof is in the pudding. This new approach is already giving us some incredible results. We're seeing brand new drugs like Ivonescimab, which is this wild bispecific antibody. That means it can attack a cancer cell in 2 different ways at the same time. It's actually challenging one of the biggest cancer drugs on the planet. And we're seeing it in other areas too. So speaking of results, I want you to just look at this number for a second. 78.2%. What is that? That is the average skin improvement for eczema patients taking a new pill called Soficitinib in just 4 weeks. It's that speed of response that is just mind-blowing, and it really shows the power of putting medicine on fast forward. Okay, but all this amazing science is one thing. For any of it to actually get to real people, the rules of the game themselves have to change. The policies and regulations that our healthcare system runs on have to catch up to this new reality. So let's just take addiction as a perfect example. For decades, the official government position, the way it was funded and treated, was basically as a moral failure or a problem for the criminal justice system. But look at this. That is changing in a huge way. A recent White House executive order for the Great American Recovery Initiative now officially redefines addiction as a chronic, treatable disease. That is a seismic shift. It moves the problem from the justice system squarely into the healthcare system, and that unlocks all sorts of new ways to fund and develop treatments. And it's not just about treatment. The National Institutes of Health, which is basically the engine room for American science, is also cutting red tape. They're making it easier for scientists to get grants and spend less time on paperwork. In other words, they're trying to get the administrative junk out of the way so the actual science can move faster. Okay, so let's zoom out and put all these threads together. We've got a revolution in how we find disease, a revolution in how we create cures for it, and the very beginning of a revolution in the rules that govern it all. So what does this great medical shift really look like? Well, it boils down to these three massive things happening all at once. First, there's prediction. We're getting the power to find disease before we even know it's there. Then, there's acceleration. We're using AI to invent treatments faster than ever before. And finally, there's adaptation. The system itself, the government, is slowly starting to change the rules to catch up. And that leads us to the one final, critical question that hangs over all of this. Our science is moving at light speed. We can see more, build more, and cure more than we ever thought possible. But is the system we have right now, our hospitals, our insurance companies, our clinics, is it actually built to handle that speed? That is the defining challenge of this entire new era of medicine.